Welcome to MAFSI. I'm really just thankful to be here. I came off of the Sefesa stage, and Allison Cody said, I want you to do that for us. And that's how I got here. And that really ties into a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about, because it's about opportunity. Opportunity that you really don't know exists until you begin your journey online and building your digital platform. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Not really because I enjoy talking about myself, but because there's a reason for it. And it's all going to tie back in. You know, we want to build business. We want to get closer to our customer. We want to get closer to our partners. There's a lot of power in the power of digital. And over the last 4 years, I've been putting out tons of content. Again, that's led me here. So let's see if this is going to work for me. All right. So when we're talking about finding our whys, that's my nephew right there looking up at me. I love this picture. He's one of my whys. He's given me new reason to be hungry, to go out here and do the things that I'm doing. My sister, my business partner, another one of my whys. You know, we're 6 years apart, and you know, we've gotten so much closer as we've gotten older. And then there's my mom right over there. So these are some of the reasons, right? We all have reasons, and these are human connections. These are the things that connect all of us every single day. And whether it's business or not, people do business with people. And that's the whole point of getting excited about your digital journey. So I'm gonna take you back to when I had hair. It's all over. I said goodbye. This was 1995. That was my first girlfriend, and we both won Best Looking. Give it up. That was the pinnacle. But then we fast forward. This is my dad. I'm here because of him, and we do not talk anymore. I haven't spoken to my father since 2017. I grew up in the business with him. 1999, I graduated high school. I decided to try college, and I did not do well. It was about 2001 when I said, I'm not going to school anymore. I'm just going to come in and I'm going to dive into the business. And from there, I started putting stock on shelves, answering phones, breaking boxes, sweeping floors. Whatever he told me to do, I did it. The man was relentless in everything that he did. He was super strict. He helped me with my first breakup. And I bring this up because I was supposed to be at work. And when I didn't show up at 6 a.m., there was a problem. Around 7:30 a.m., he comes kicking in my door. I'm sharing this, don't laugh. I was crying in my room over this girl. And my life was crumbling around me, and we sat down at the table and he said, listen, he said, there's gonna be lots of other girls after that. He was right. And you know, from that moment, he said, listen, we have to work. We're men, we get up, we go to work, we check our stuff at the door, we pick this back up when you get home. So he was always constantly on top of me. He would not let me not show up. And you know, every lesson that I have learned has been from this guy. It was not always the right way, but he taught me. Gave me responsibility. Had to show up every day. Had to have every single job in the business, from the parts department to the service department to sales to junior technician. Every single thing in the building, I had to do it. It's led me here today, and I like to bring him into this, even though we don't talk, because he still deserves, you know, all the honor. I get to be here because of him. And you know, interestingly enough, I had some conversations when I got here, because I just put some videos out about talking with my father, and I had a couple of guys come up to me and go, hey Rich, I saw that video about your dad, man. He was like, yeah, it hits home. These are things that connect us. So you'll see a lot on my platforms. I'm not sure who follows or who doesn't, but you'll see a lot of my platforms. I rarely talk about my business. I'm not really saying, hey, go to malachicares.com. Come use our service. Call us 24/7, 365. I'm talking about my life, talking about my day-to-day, talking about our operations, I'm talking about my team. Through that, doors have been opening over the last 5 years. Building a brand leads me into why we have to make it personal. You know, We had some conversations at dinner last night about ROI. Where's the money? Where's the dollars? Where's the cents for all this? You're making videos, you're having fun. How does that make any sense for us if we're reps? You know, and the conversation that we were having is, there's a lot of, I think, the mentality of, this is the way we always did it. This is the way we always did it. I don't need to do this. I don't need to be on Facebook. I don't need to be on LinkedIn. We're successful. But you need to separate yourself from a really, really growing market that's super competitive. And how do you do that? You jump on social media and you be yourself. It's all about authenticity. It's all about consistency. It's all about caring about what the audience on the other side thinks. It's about the value you bring to them. If I don't bring you value, you're not gonna follow, you're not gonna subscribe, you're not gonna show up in this room maybe and see what I have to say, and Allison's not gonna ask me to come here and speak. So it's opened up a lot of doors. Attention. Attention is the thing we're all fighting for online. It's not easy to get. You know, I built a community. I dropped some cards in front of you. I built a community on Facebook called the Fed Group. And the big reason I'm here is because we're putting on a conference, April 25th to 27th. And in order to gain that attention, it took about 5 years in that group, in that community, to make people care about the cause, to make people care about what we wanted to do. You know, we want to go viral as an industry. That's what I've gathered when I sat down in NRA 2019. I sat down in a room with Hobart, with Middleby, lots of different reps. Joe Ferry was there, lots of different reps and service companies, and they said, Rich, how do we go viral? How do we make this thing pop? We want to find new salespeople. We want to find new technicians. We want to find new operations. We want to build our business bigger and better. We want our industry to be stronger for the future. It's all going to happen if we do it collectively. And that's what I talk about when I go to all these different conferences and meetings. It's about doing it together. If you're not opening your phone and telling the world who you are and what you're doing, I can't do it alone. It's very quiet when you look at the industry as a whole and you're on LinkedIn and you're seeing things, and it's very salesy. Be yourself, be you. Bring your team into it. Make your employees advocates for what you're doing. You have to have your reasons though. I'm building a business. I'm building Malachi Parts and Service. I'm building Service Masters. But there's also another much bigger thing at play for us, right? And it's gonna be different for all of you. So the Fed Group for us, we want to build a company that provides networking events, masterminds, and educational resources for you to be better at your digital branding and marketing, specifically for the food equipment industry. There's really nothing honed in on that. It was an untapped market. That's what I want to do. So we're building here. So everything that I'm doing is leading towards something. And that's the same thing you have to figure out for yourself. What are you leading towards? So, one of the biggest things I hear, and I was just at Cefesa, and I don't know if anyone knows anyone on the service side, Nick Cribb from Sam Service, he's from Atlanta. He's like, Rich, man, I don't want to be the face. I don't want to go live. And I said, well, you don't have to, Nick. I said, there's a lot of different ways that you could do this. And I was out over the weekend, and with my girlfriend, we were with one of her friends, and she was talking about she's gonna build a hairstyling business. She's got a new place. And she said, Rich, you're big in social media. She said, how do I put myself out there, get new customers, clients, get people to care? I don't want to be the face. I don't want to be on there. I thought for a second. I said, you're gonna have people in your chair. Hashtag reviews from the chair. Let your clients be your face for the time being. Let them do the talking for you. What better way is there? There's always a way to put yourself out there. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to go live 5 days a week. You know, you don't have to, take selfies and do all kinds of all those things. You could have the people that are sitting right next to you in your offices, in your warehouse, wherever you are, be those advocates. And another great conversation last night. The gentleman did not want to put himself out there because he doesn't want his competition to know what he's doing. He doesn't want to give any insight into, what he has going on. I think that's a big fear in this industry of giving too much information. And I think that's, maybe a lot of old school thinking, I get it. But in the sense from, trying to build your customer base. So he says there's 3 things a rep need to do every day. Number 1, they want to get in touch with their dealers. They want to make sure that they're in front of their dealers. And is that correct? I mean, you guys want to get in front of your dealers. That's the first thing he wants to do every day, make sure that they know you want to spec our equipment. Facebook group. Rich, I don't want to share it. Private Facebook group. It clicked for him. He said, okay, so how do I do that? I said, you go on Facebook, you make a private Facebook group, and you invite your top 10 dealers in your market, your top 20 dealers in your market. And you start creating content, and you start making them care about your brand. That's the way to do it. It's very simple. There's a lot of overthinking, and I'm waiting for the perfect time to start. There's never gonna be a perfect time to start. Jump in right now, and if you're sitting here today, I would urge you, if you're running your rep group, to start a Facebook group, start inviting, it could be your customers, it could be your dealers, whoever you want it to be. Make it personal, make it a community. Start putting out content that they're gonna care about. Test kitchens. I know everyone has test kitchens. I visit a lot of them up in Jersey and Pacifica Ferry, and lots of ways to create content. Put that out into your Facebook group, into your dealer community. Let them see the stuff in action, invite them in, let them be part of it. Next time they go to a school, next time they're in K through 12, they're gonna remember, oh, Pacifica Ferry, Blodgett, Middleby. That's what you want them thinking. But if you're not in front of them every single day and you're not garnering their attention, you just might lose that sale because they're gonna be thinking about something else. They're not gonna be thinking about you. So we have a community on Facebook, the Fed Group. We do fun things. Make it fun. We had a pumpkin carving contest. This is what we got. Use your imagination for the one on the left. That's what we got. But when you're making it fun, people are gonna remember you. People are gonna care about you. They're gonna care about your brand. They're gonna care about your business. When you care about somebody and you begin to build friendships, you want to do business with them. You want to see them succeed. It's just natural. The next generation is online. The people we hope to attract in this industry, existing customers, potential customers, spend their time in one place, in their phones. The more comfortable we get with that, the easier it will be to gain new talent and strengthen our relationships. So if we know that the workforce is, I think basically, even from what we were watching the other day in that keynote, millennials are basically owning the workforce at this point. They're all on their phone. They're all paying attention to what the competition's doing. If someone calls me to do business, first thing I do is check LinkedIn, I check websites, I see what they're doing, I see what they're up to. If they're not there, if it's lackluster, I'm not saying I wouldn't do business with them, but it might be a little bit of a turnoff for me. Why aren't they up to date? Why aren't they keeping up with the times? You'll become less relevant. If you refuse to use the tools that have become mainstream, you're gonna be behind the curve of the competition. I would ask in here, everyone's on LinkedIn, I would imagine. That's the big one for this industry, super important, the most powerful one. Is everyone posting every single day in here by hands? Are you posting every day? Once a week? Yeah. So, let's talk about service. That's where I come from. If I'm in the service industry and I'm in New Jersey and I'm paying attention, I know what the service companies are doing. I also know what they're not doing. If you're in my market and you're a service company, you're in trouble because you're gonna be pushing a boulder up a mountain to try to catch up to me. And I'm hungry and I'm driven and I'm not gonna stop. So if you're not showing up, and I now have the opportunity to jump in conversations with your customer. I now have the opportunity to jump in conversations with manufacturers I want to work with that I'm not working with yet. I'm becoming friendly, I'm building relationships. And I think it's important to know with LinkedIn, because that's really the #1 platform for this industry. When you connect with somebody for the first time, and you're probably getting connection requests, are you getting those requests and then immediately followed by a message saying, hey, you want to buy my software, place in a demo? Is that not the biggest turnoff? Okay, look at it like real life. If I'm at a bar and I sit next to a beautiful girl, I'm not gonna say, hey, let's get out of here, let's go. I mean, it might work, but probably not. You're gonna buy her a drink first. You're gonna ask her name. You're gonna ask her where she's from. What do you do for work? You're gonna get to know the person. Same thing online. Same thing on LinkedIn. It's real life. These are real interactions. There's a real person on the other end of that, And it's working. On a daily basis, I'm making connections on a daily basis. I'm building friendships. It might take 6 months for me to get to where I want to be, but you got to put in the work. I would absolutely suggest daily posts. And people say, what do I post about? I would say, when you wake up in the morning and you're gonna go into your office, what's the first thing you're gonna do? Make that a post. Hey guys, just setting up shop here in the morning. Can't wait to start talk about whatever manufacturer, talk about a job you might be speccing, whatever it might be for you. Something that people are gonna relate to. You wanna drive engagement. You wanna have conversations. Something that's gonna bring value to somebody else. So, by being quiet, honestly, you're doing your company such a disservice. And so I don't know if anyone follows Wendy's on Twitter, but they're probably the savages of the Twitterverse, of the internet, and they're not quiet. They're jumping in to other people's feeds, other people's things. So there was a post, you can look it up. I believe it was Wendy said, am I saying this right, Lisa? Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A said, what's better than enjoying one of our chicken sandwiches on a Friday? And Wendy's comes in and says, enjoying one of ours on a Sunday. Right? It's amazing. And so they just infiltrated the entire Chick-fil-A brand. And now there's thousands of comments. People are definitely gonna go click on Wendy's, they're gonna follow Wendy's, they're gonna see what Wendy's is offering. And these are big brands, but if you treat it like that, jump in conversations, make it fun. Bust chops. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're working in the same market, I try my best to be as friendly as possible with the people in my market. There's so much business. We don't have to be against each other. Community over competition is a big thing we preach in the Fed group. All ships rise with the tide. And, so have fun with it. But don't be quiet. So these are some things that I've talked about in the past. I just want to throw them in here because I think it's important to talk about some of the disservices you do by being quiet. A lot of times people say, are you hiding something? What are you not showing us? What are you so worried about putting out? Put it out there. You don't exist. If you're not putting out content, no one can find you. That includes new and existing customers. People are searching. People are looking every single minute of every single day. And that doesn't mean just for your potential customers. Think about the customers you have, customers you want to keep, those big clients, those ones that you want to make sure feel the love and feel good. If you're putting stuff out, connect with them online. Let them know, hey, we're here, you're here. Let's start having some engagement. Start collaborating with them. Don't let them think about their competition. Don't let them think about anything else. And then you have no control over your narrative. If people are saying things, you're not even part of the conversation. You don't even know what's happening. I see stuff going on, people trying to say things. I've gone back and I've looked at some things where people said bad things about Malachi. I'm like, oh, I got to jump in. I got to shut these people down. But it's real. You got to be able to be there to control the narrative. Otherwise, people are going to write your story for you. This is everything. I mean, like I said, you have to find out your why. You have to find out your why for you. If you're not looking to build the next events company or that maybe you're not looking to be the next speaker or whatever it might be, that's up to you to decide. Build something bigger than yourself. When you begin to do things you've never done, interesting opportunities begin to arise. I never wanted to be a speaker. Truth be told, every time I get up here, and Lisa will tell you, I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death right now. I'm sweating on the inside of my body. All right. But I know this is something that I need to do and get better at. So every time I'm asked to speak somewhere, I do it. And I think I get a little better every time. I'm trying to control my ums. I've noticed that's so but when you begin to do this, you want to build something bigger than yourself. For me, legacy is important for me. I don't have children, and my sister, now that she has these two little boys, 4 and 2, man, I've never worked harder in the last 4 years since Carson was born, and now Cullen. I want them to have things. I want them to have opportunities. And if it's not this, that's okay. At least I know I worked hard, and now they have the opportunity to see what hard work does. And interesting opportunities arise, like speaking, I said, and aside from the opportunities like this, you know, we've been building our business. So Maliki Parts and Service, you know, we're a service company in New Jersey, for those who don't know. We have 17 technicians across the state. And so we've been steadily growing over the years. But I always wanted to be change driven because I know change can get me into new markets. You know, there's a goal and a strategy down the line. So I just turned 40 in December, the big 40. So I know this decade is super important to get to the goal that I want. Chain driven. The first chain that we were able to work with because of my presence on LinkedIn was Chipotle. There was a guy in another market that was following me, and he said to the guy, Matt, over in our market, you gotta go check this guy's videos out, he's crazy, right? So he messages me. He said, hey, just watch some of your videos. Can you meet me in Piscataway on Monday at 8 a.m.? I said, I'll be there. We talked, we hit it off. I got 35 stores. Fast forward 2 years, I got 60 stores. From that, just being on LinkedIn every single day posting. And in 2019, I did a video a day. I committed to a video a day. And that's actually when the Chipotle came about. Also through that, Habit Burger. These people talk. Reached out to the guy at Chipotle and said, hey, I'm having a problem in Jersey. Who can you send my way? Now we do all the Habit Burgers in New Jersey. Super change driven. These are opportunities that could exist for you. And I don't know what those are. Those are all individual, by company. You'll figure that out as you're going along. So connecting with your community. We're here right now because of your commitment to MAFSI. 50 years. You love the industry, you love the association, and none of this is by chance. I know they were mentioning, I don't know the people who started MAFSI. Was it the two gentlemen? I don't recall. They had a vision. They had a dream. Just like I kind of do with the Fed Group. It's in its infancy. People are coming by and saying, what is this? What are you trying to actually do? This was a vision. This was a dream. You fast forward 50 years, there's 500 plus people here. That's pretty amazing. And the reason that happened, this is obviously before social media, way back then, but they made you all care. Because you all care about the same thing. You care about your customer, you care about the industry, you care about the people next to you. You want to grow your business, you want to grow your network, and this was the place to come and do it. Community is everything. And then you got sales, talking about sales. Sales is in a service to others. That's where you're going to thrive. You know, we talk about it a lot at Maliki and here. We're not chasing money. We're chasing the dream to help people. Money's gonna follow, and I know that. Serving with valuable content to connect you with the right people, inbound leads through LinkedIn, potential employees reaching out for job opportunities. You know, service to others. Showing. So we really have a really good culture that we're building. Maliki Cares is the tagline for the company, and over the last 3 or 4 years, we put a lot of things in place that I've been putting out. And me and Lisa did a little commercial, right? Give me 30 seconds and I'll give you 4 reasons why you want to be a Maliki Cares technician. Number 1, and I had my technicians roll up in their van one by one and go, we get paid to drive to our first call. They care about our time. Boom, next one. They pay 80% of a platinum health plan. They care about us and our families. Boom, 401k with employer match up to 4%. Boom, right? All these things that we're doing for our employees that I know a lot of these other companies might be doing to a certain level, but not on the level that we're doing it. So when we're showing that, we probably added, I would say 3 or 4 technicians through them finding us online and doing these things. You need to show all the amazing things that you and your companies are doing on a daily basis. If you're looking for new talent, and I know a lot of us are, we're always looking for new technicians. These are the things you have to do. It's work. I'm not going to tell you it's not work. It is work. You have to be committed. You know, and I talk to people call me all the time. How do I start? How do I do this? I give them as much information as I can. I give them a blueprint in some cases, and then I'll look at 6 months later, and they never even started. If you start today, 365 days from now, you'll be amazed at the progress that you'll have. It's something you gotta commit to though. You have to make it part of your daily. It's gotta be a priority. I don't have time. You do have time. You've chosen not to do anything with it. I mean, I'm so committed at night when I go home from 10 p.m. to 11 or midnight, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm messaging people back, I'm sending messages, I'm reconnecting, I'm connecting, because I know there's the next big thing coming. I don't know what that is and I don't know when it's gonna be, but eventually I'm gonna get that message and they're gonna say, hey Rich, I want you to take care of all the Chili's in New Jersey, because I'm working on that right now. And you have to find your why. So I have that here if you guys want to join my text community as well. This is something else I want to talk to you about to help you build and grow your sales in your community. So I use something called Community. It's an app. Now I use that for the Fed group. You can use that for your business. If you go, I believe you can just go to community.com. This is a telephone number that I can give out obviously to you. You text me. You're gonna get an automatic response from me, and now I'm gonna pull you into my text messaging platform. I'm gonna know your birthday. It's gonna let me know. I'm gonna wish you happy birthday on every one of your birthdays, because we're making human connections. These are things that people care about that. Also, I'm gonna say, hey, Rich here from Malachi. Just wanna let you know about an upcoming event. Got 10% off this. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna send you out a free book. Give me your address. So these are things how we're gonna connect more to people. I'm not saying email is dead, but this is the way of the future right now, because everyone's on their phones. I can send a message out right now to the 200 and some odd people that I have in the Fed group, and they all get it instantly on their phone. This is another great way to connect. So I would urge you all to please text me if you'd like, and I'll make sure to wish you happy birthday. And then these are my guys. See, this is talking about building community. That's Taz Sutherland with Walmart. That's Josh Zolan with Windy City Equipment. You know, these guys are giving a lot of their time and they're volunteering their time to help me build something here. And we built a community that people care about. They don't have to, but they want to. So come and get inspired at FedCon. We have a table over there. Go to fedcon.com. You can check us out. I really wanted to not go too long because I wanted to just do Q&A and talk with everybody, see if they had any questions or anything I could answer. So that's that.
Things from FER, just articles. I'm just clicking the link, copying it, pasting it into a great article on LinkedIn and just posting it. If you can be someone that also redistributes good content, then you're going to be seen as a thought leader as Rich is. Or just going and just liking and commenting on people's posts, adding compliments. Like, you don't always have to post.
That's a great point. Engagement is something that I didn't talk too much about, but engagement is super important. It's not always just about posting. You want to jump into other people's posts and start getting those conversations. Maybe, like you said, you have dealers or whoever your customers are. Jump into their conversations. Give some real thoughtful insight. Don't just say, they'll give a thumbs up and go, cool. Actually see what their content is about. Think about it. Give a sentence. Give them something. Show them that you care. I mean, that's what this all boils down to. It's about people caring about people, making those connections. So engagement is very important.
So what advice would you have for someone that may, that may not be involved in social media, or may have those insecurities, or the not knowing how to get themselves involved with social media because they've never really tapped into it before? So what would you recommend someone that finds themselves in that kind of situation, and how to get started and get past that fear or insecurity or the unknowns?
So is everyone familiar here with Gary Vee? Gary Vee? So I found him maybe 6 years ago, just by chance on YouTube. And the reason I'm actually doing all this is because I followed every single thing he said. And he's right. But it takes time. But what I would say is I was not for social media. We used to say Facebook is the devil. You know, I don't want to be here. I hate it. But I think you have to figure out, like I said, what's your why? What's if you're going to get into the social media and you're going to start doing Instagram, you're going to do LinkedIn. What's your purpose for it? Do you want to be there because you want to engage with people? Do you want to grow your sales? You want to grow your business, and you know you're going to be effective at it? You just kind of have to be vulnerable. There's really no other way to say it. You can't think about it. You can't say, oh, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not smart enough. There's always going to be a million reasons, right, not to do something. You could pick a million out, but you just have to do it. I mean, I was so uncomfortable doing all this, but the end game, we're working towards that end game, which is building. And I think for you, just do it. Why not? There's no other answer. You just have to start.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree. If you don't get started, like you said, you give somebody all the tools, the blueprint, but they don't get started, nothing happens, right?
Right.
So it's like anything else, you have to take action, you have to have activity to get results, right? But with social media, what I found, it does take time, right? It takes years, really.
It's a lifelong journey.
Exactly, but if
You can never stop.
If you don't get started, nothing's gonna happen, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you find that posting at different times during the day creates more engagement with whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram? Like, is there a time slot you specifically try to post that?
Yeah, there is something to be said about the times. Got it. I think that's one of those things. So every one of those apps that we all have analytics. So you could just jump into those analytics and you could actually see male or female, times of day, all those things. If you watch those analytics, you could gain some insight for you. That's what's working for you, because what's working for me might not be the same for you. I do find that when I post early in the morning, I get a lot more responses than when I do at 9 o'clock at night, for me. So for me during the day, and I have a lot of things, recurring things. So in the Fed group, every Monday morning, I have a post that I'll find some picture. I'll use Adobe, Adobe Pro or Spark? Adobe Spark, I'll just find a photo and I'll say, where are you now? 8 a.m., 9 a.m., there's 1,200 people in that community. I mean, that'll get a conversation going for the whole day. Oh, taking pictures of my office in Tulsa. Oh, I'm out on the road. It's all about that community building, right? So maybe even think to do something like that where you can schedule these things. So you don't have to, maybe Saturday morning, you're gonna spend an hour creating 5 posts for the next week and you're gonna schedule them and you're gonna forget about them. You can use.
How you do it? Like, do you have a planned schedule on like a specific subject for each day of the week, or how do you work?
I did. Once COVID hit, that kind of changed for me. Now I'm just kind of pumping stuff out, but we were using Hootsuite. So if you go to hootsuite.com, simple packages, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, you can put your post there. Say you want to post them at 2 p.m., it's done. And you could schedule those out for the week, for the month. That might be something to assist with, because there's tools. You don't always have to be, oh, I didn't post today. It's not easy.
So I like what you mentioned about the Facebook community group, but if we're already posting on the other platforms, do we have to change the content to be in this VIP group or whatever this group that you're talking about on Facebook?
Yeah, I think the unique thing for the Facebook group is it's people that you're going to invite in, and then those members have the opportunity to invite people in. So it's really a selective type thing, and for us, it's a private group. So you have to you have to answer a few questions, understand what we're all about, and then to be accepted in. So yes and no to change the content. I mean, the content in your community, that's going to be very driven to the people that are there. You know who's there. You know your audience. Is it going to be dealers? Is it going to be customers? Is whoever's going to be? You might want to focus, okay, this is a customer. I want them to start getting to know us a little bit better. So maybe you're going to do a video. Hey, everyone. Here's a little bit about me. Welcome to our new community. And by the way, we also rep these brands. They're amazing. And by being in this community, we're going to give you some exclusive looks into how we use this equipment, how you could use this equipment, some menus and some different things. And we would love to invite you in one day to do a live show in the community here. So you can, there's endless things you could do. And it's all, yeah. in a group, in a Facebook group, I would keep it very community oriented, getting people involved, you know. And I wouldn't be posting a picture of, you know, a Blodgett DFG and say, hey, check out the price on this thing. Like, nobody wants to be sold to, especially if you're going to join a group. You know, if you're joining a group, you want to connect with people. This guy in the middle, Taz, over the pandemic, this is one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever met in my life. When we went to RIFMA, right? I mean, me and him probably hugged weirdly for like 13 minutes. I'm like, do we break free? I mean, I love you. Okay, you know. But this is like the power of it. And I've also met some other guys, Dylan Taylor at United Service, another technician out there. We've become friends. I mean, we jump on live, on virtuals together, you know, throughout the pandemic. You know, we were having drinks and just laughing and, you know, talking about all the crazy stuff that we all go through. And that's what you want out of your community. You want people to connect. You want people to engage. You want to build that around your brand. That's what it's all about.
Do you have separate groups on Facebook groups for the manufacturers and or is it just you? So you have multiples, I guess is the question.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I just have the Fed group. It's something that I've thought about for the service to invite customers in. I haven't got there yet, just probably because I got, you know, different groups and different things, and eventually I'm probably going to get to that. Oh, sorry. Okay, good. Dip in the back.
We are signed up for something like that, but we are a small wares related company.
Okay.
So I was wondering how you're going to, or if you're going to be a little more general versus service related, or how is that going to pertain a little more to us?
Yeah, I mean, we're not really going to be focused on anything service directly. So we're actually putting a panel on, and Chelsea from Crave is going to be on that panel. We'll work on a couple of other manufacturers. I'm talking to John Carlo from Mericooler. I'm trying to get him there because I love, you know, I met John Carlo through the power of LinkedIn, and he hit me up on LinkedIn one day, and he's like, hey Rich, I'm in Jersey. I just landed. I'm going to come on your podcast. I was like, okay. So yeah, he came in and we got to know each other. He came to the first one and he spoke, but he's doing really some unique things, I think, on his media. So I would love to have him on that panel, but it's about content and leveraging that content. So it's not going to be specific service. It's going to be, we're just going to talk generally. And of course we'll have conversations about the entire food equipment industry in general. And then there's going to be some inspiring keynotes. You know, we have Pink's drummer's going to be there, Mark Schulman, so he's going to do the rock star attitude. And I think that really plays in to getting people kind of fired up and excited about their journey with media. And he's going to talk about how he's been successful breaking away from Pink and doing his own thing in media. So there's going to be some of that. We have Ryan McCarty, The Culture of Good. That's something super important to me. I want to continue to build the community over competition theme. And I think that's important for the industry. We have to work together. You know, and I look at my market and I say, oh, there's reps, there's dealers, there's service companies. We should all have each other's backs every single day of the week. We're all pulling from the same customer at the end of the day. It doesn't do us any good to throw this person under the bus or that person under the bus. And I want to build that community, and the culture of good is going to tie right into that. And I think maybe open some eyes to how we could all work better together.
So just to piggyback, kind of clarify a little bit on that. So I was thinking the same thing for everyone to that. But before, I was thinking about sending my service manager to that, because my service manager never really gets kind of exposure to this kind of stuff. I thought maybe that would be a good event for him. Would it be more of a sales manager thing to go to, or do you think the service manager makes sense?
I mean, I think there's a place for both, honestly. For a service manager perspective, you know, there's going to be other leaders in the room. So Roger, I don't know if you guys know who Roger Smelser is. United Service Technologies, they just sold to Tech24. But Roger Smelser, if you ever run across this man and find him in a room, sit there. He's the smartest guy in the room. You know, that's how I portray him. You're going to learn something from him. So he's been a super big supporter and mentor. So I mean, there's going to be service guys like that there. Josh Olin is going to be there. So there's going to be real connections from the service side. I got Dylan Taylor coming. He's another senior gold collar technician type guy. There's going to be manufacturers in the room. Hashizaki will be there. Keisan's going to be there. We got some technology companies, XOI. So there's going to be, I think, a good melting pot for either.
Do you build in your business planning, do you build any of these metrics into that, whether it be with your people or as a business? Meaning, do you set yourself a target of we want to have X amount of followers or X amount of people in our community? And so, what are some examples?
So I am not a numbers guy when it comes to social media. For business, yes. But when it comes to social media, I'm not looking to say, okay, I gotta have 10,000 followers or 1 million subscribers or all this stuff. I just don't see the value in me spending my energy on that. For the reason being, we're kind of in a niche industry, a niche market. You know, I don't expect to be the Gary Vee of the media world. Like he's the media world, 3 million here. I feel like the 18,000 that I have collectively across my platforms, I know a lot of them. I think there's value in knowing your audience. And I think that gives me kind of an edge. And I think same thing for you. If you're going to build your business, not saying you shouldn't, pay attention to your numbers if you want, and set goals for that. But there's something to be said about someone that has 500 or 1,000 followers on Instagram, and they're engaging with them, and they care about what you're saying. Rather than worrying about having 10,000 people that I probably don't even get in front of 10% of them, and they don't even care about me. So I don't know. There's different ways to look at it. There's no right or wrong here. So I hope that answers a little bit. Yeah. So one of the things I'm going to talk about at FedCon actually is being more thoughtful and aware, managing the disruption, but being thoughtful and aware. So not realizing how many eyes are on you. There's been a couple of instances over the last, I'd say 12 to 18 months. So in the group, there's a lot of talk about supply chain. There's a lot of people that are angry. There's a lot of people that are naming names and saying things and OEM parts, right? So someone had mentioned, hey, Rich, what do you think about these OEM parts? Is it time we just do whatever we got to do for our customer? I try not to get too involved in that, but I opened my mouth and I said, we're at a time right now that our customers need us. If we have to source parts on Amazon, if we have to source parts on eBay, if I have to I don't care where, I got a local supply house. If it's not OEM, I'm sorry. I am an OEM house. We are manufacturer partnerships, but it's about getting the customer up and running. That's really what it boils down to. Being thoughtful and being aware of what your words and what your influence brings. Because you're all influencers in your field. A lot of you've been at this a long time. People care about what you say. So you have to, that's one of the things that again, we're going to talk about that there, but it's, there it is. So that was definitely a game changer. I've had a couple of other instances too with some manufacturers, videos going up in the group, even videos that we put up for a combi oven showing an install that went wrong that we didn't do. We came behind it. Service manager from this manufacturer calls me and says, Rich, you got to take that down. I'm getting calls from everybody. And I'm like, well, he said, Rich, I know you were showing what not to do, but they don't want anyone to see what not to do. I said, okay. So I'm respectful. You got to be respectful. Those are some things that made me realize I got to be real thoughtful and careful about what I put out, because more people are apparently watching than I thought. So, yeah. No, and that's true. I mean, there's a lot of guarded information from manufacturers, from reps, from dealers. I mean, it's a very, I don't want to say old school, but it's a very old way of thinking. Like, if I give them too much, they're gonna destroy me. They're gonna figure out the formula. It's just not the case. It really isn't. I will be an open book. I'm gonna tell you everything I'm doing. I'm happy to do that. That's part of the community over competition.